Hello everyone, Eusebius here back at it again with another video. And today, we are going to be talking about acute dystonic reaction. So, a lot of you are probably wondering what that is. Well, when you're on certain medications, I know this happens for antipsychotics, but I don't know if it happens to any other medication, but definitely happens with antipsychotics. Basically, it's a form of muscle spasms, I think. An acute dystonic reaction is characterized by involuntary contractions of muscles in the extremities, face, neck, abdomen, pelvis, or either sustained or intermittent patterns that lead to abnormal movements or postures. That's what Google says anyway. And when I think about it, Google's not wrong, but they really don't fully, when you read that, it doesn't fully settle in how bless you, it doesn't settle in how incredibly painful it is. So the story goes as this. Was I was talking to my doctor. My doctor was telling me, hey, you have some more room to go up on the medication you're on, and if you're interested in what I was on Geodon. And so she said, you still have room to go up. I think I was going from 60 milligrams a day to 80 milligrams a day. Twice a day, actually. Not just a day, twice a day. Yeah, I started on 20, then I went to 40, then I went to 60, and my doctor suggested, hey, we can go to 60 to 80. And the first day I took, when I took the first dose, that was completely fine. Geodon has a tendency to knock me out, so when I was taking Geodon, I took it in the morning and I would have to fight off sleep for the entire day because it was incredibly hard to not go to sleep. And so basically, I took the first dose, everything was fine, I was just very tired. And when it came to the second dose, I was taking a nap actually. I was home from school and I was taking a nap. And I wake up because I have this horrible feeling in my neck and mouth. And there's no other way to describe it as if somebody is taking your jaw, your top jaw, and your lower jaw, and somebody's pulling it open. It felt like that. And I walked downstairs, I was calm, and I was talking to my parents. I was like, hey, I can't close my mouth. And I'm saying this while I can't close my mouth, so it sounded more like, I can't close my mouth. So that continued for about an hour, I would say. And my parents were trying to comfort me. They were trying to say, everything's gonna be okay, it's gonna take some time, and it'll eventually go away. And then it did go away about an hour later. The next day wasn't as, it wasn't easier to go through. So I took the first dose like normal. I was tired, so I went to go take a nap after school again. Took my second dose when I woke up, and bam! Acute dystonic reaction. Back at it again with another horrible, painful experience. But this time it wasn't just my mouth. I couldn't close my mouth, but there were also times, spasms in between, where my mouth would slam shut and twist. Sorry about that, trash. Garbage truck, I mean. So there were times when my mouth would be forced open and then forced closed, and then grind the teeth together. Imagine you're clenching your jaw so tight that you think your teeth are gonna break. And then imagine the exact opposite of that, like somebody's ripping your mouth open, and then slamming it shut, and then ripping it open, and then slamming it shut. It was a very intense feeling. It was a very intense time. And so my parents, they were like, okay, incredibly isn't normal. It might be due to his medication, so we called my doctor. My doctor said, go straight to the emergency room. And she said it was a side effect of the medicine. So, I went to the emergency room. But here's the thing. The emergency room was a couple, it's maybe 20 miles away from my house. And when I got there, it was probably about 2 hours since the reaction started, and 1.5 of those 2 hours, so 1 hour and 30 minutes, was just in the drive over. And I was in so much pain. There was a lot of traffic, that's why. And so, while I was waiting in the waiting room, they were like, okay, we'll go take a seat, we'll give you some paperwork to fill out, the doctor will see you in a second. And I remember I brought my meds with me, and the doctor was looking through them, and I have all these old bottles from when from my different medications, like the medications that have accumulated for the past year. So I had about 6 different bottles of medication, 4 of which I was actually on, and 2 of which I wasn't on anymore. One of them was Percocet, and the other was olanzapine. And the 4 that I was on was lithium, risperidone, propranolol, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, and venlafaxine. And Percocet and olanzapine were the 2 meds that I came off of, but still carried it around with me for whatever reason, because I was too lazy to throw it away. The doctor was looking through my meds. He was like, okay, these are very intense drugs. You're on a relatively high dose of Geodon, and that is what is causing this acute dystonic reaction. We will get you some meds. He told me we will get you some meds to counteract this reaction. And I was in the waiting room screaming, God, it hurts. Can you please? And I kept walking up to the front desk, and I was like, please just give me something, anything. I was crying, I was screaming, I was probably being a very large nuisance to the people around me. And I feel really bad, but when I look back on it, that was the worst pain I've ever experienced in my entire life. I'd say maybe half an hour to an hour later, the doctor calls me into a room, and they give me 2 things, Banofen and Benadryl. Wait, no, Banofen is Benadryl. I might have to fact check that, I'm not quite sure, but they gave me Banofen and benchtropine. Benchtropine is the anti-Parkinson's one, I think, and if I'm not wrong, I think Banofen is Benadryl, and I'm not entirely sure about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, they gave me 2 shots of that, and the thing that I thought was funny is they put it in my ass cheek. They took the syringe, put it in my ass cheek, injected the medicine, and then like 15 minutes later, I was completely fine. But that was not the only time I experienced an acute dystonic reaction. Oh, I realized earlier in the video I said that I was on risperidone, which I believe I wasn't on risperidone for that one. I was actually on Geodon. So, I go back a little bit, and yeah, when I mentioned those 4 meds, it was on lithium, propranolol, venlafaxine, and I meant Geodon, not risperidone. The second story does have risperidone though, that's why I got it a bit mixed up. Anyway, the second story was I was recently put on risperidone with 3 milligrams in the morning and 2 milligrams at night. And the max dose for risperidone is 8 milligrams. So I was kind of close to the highest dosage, but yeah, I wasn't on the highest dosage at the time. And so it was a Saturday, I remember that. I took my risperidone, like normal, in the morning. And then I had a party to go to, so I went to a party, took my second dose of risperidone, and the moment I got just a little bit of pressure in my mouth, I was like, I went to my mom, because me and my mom went to the party, and I was like, Mom, we gotta go. And she looks at me, she's like, why? I'm saying, my jaw is gonna fuck up again. So, we went home, And luckily, the emergency room gave us Banofin and benchtropine in the little bottles. So I had the opportunity to take those medicines, but I was suffering with an acute dystonic reaction for about 50 minutes. I want to say 50 minutes to an hour, so it wasn't too bad, but it was it still was very intense. Imagine somebody tearing your jaw open and slamming it shut and grinding your teeth together as hard as you can. And yeah, it was not fun. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to these stories. If you're here because you've experienced an acute stomach reaction and you found this video on YouTube, I want to say it's okay. Go to your emergency room, call 911 if you really need to. If you're not able to, get in a car and drive to the emergency room. Get someone to help you out because that is very important, that is very vital. And just stay safe. And if you have in a crisis or an emergency, as always, I have some phone numbers and links down below for you to check out, just in case you're in an emergency. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Shoots.